You know, we all have them. Cans in the pantry, right? We think of them as a backup plan, something for a busy night. But what if I told you that Simple Can is actually a powerhouse, a little capsule of nutrition, a fortress of food safety, and honestly, a secret weapon in the fight against food waste? Today, we're going to pop the top on the surprising power of the can.
I mean, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? That feeling. You open a can in the dead of winter, and suddenly you can taste the summer sun. It's more than just food. It's like a time machine for your taste buds. But how does that magic actually work?
Well, it's not quite magic. It's science. Really cool science, actually. So let's get into what's happening to keep that little piece of August perfectly preserved in a jar.
At its heart, canning is actually a pretty straightforward 1-2 punch. First, you heat the food up hot enough to get rid of any of those nasty little microbes that cause food to spoil. Then, as it cools down, this amazing vacuum seal forms, locking the food in an airtight fortress where no new microbes can get in. It's simple, but it's brilliant.
Okay, but here's the one rule to rule them all when it comes to canning, and it all boils down to one thing: acidity. See, high-acid foods like fruits or pickles, they've got their own natural defense system. A simple bath in boiling water is all they need. But low-acid foods, we're talking most veggies, meats, that kind of thing, they need the big guns. They need the super high heat of a pressure canner to be safe. And believe me, this difference is everything.
And the reason that acid rule is so non-negotiable? Well, it brings us to the big, scary word that makes people nervous about canning: botulism. So you know what? Let's just face that fear head on.
This is the question, right? It's what's in the back of everyone's mind. We hear these horror stories, but let's push past the fear and just look at the actual data. What do the numbers say?
So get this. In 2021, in the entire United States, there were only 22 cases of foodborne botulism. 22, that's it. Now, obviously any case is serious, but it is incredibly rare. So the next logical question is, where did those few cases even come from?
And there you have it. The risk isn't from canning itself, it's from doing it the wrong way. Specifically, it's almost always from someone trying to can low-acid foods, like green beans, without using a pressure canner. This is exactly why you can't play fast and loose with the rules. The science is there to keep us safe.
Okay, so we've established it can be done perfectly safely. But what about nutrition? We've all been raised on the idea that fresh is always best. But, well, the truth is a little more complicated. And sometimes, the can actually comes out on top.
Look, the heating process can reduce some of those delicate water-soluble vitamins like vitamin C. That's true. But what's also true is that other really important things like fiber, minerals, and vitamins A and E hold up incredibly well. Plus, think about it. Canned food is usually processed just hours after being picked at its absolute peak of ripeness, locking those nutrients in. That fresh tomato, it might have spent days, even weeks traveling to get to you, losing nutrients the whole time.
And here is where it gets really, really cool. Sometimes the heating process actually helps us out. It breaks down the tough cell walls in plants, which makes certain nutrients easier for our bodies to grab onto and use. It's a cool concept called bioavailability.
And the poster child for this is the humble tomato. That heat from the canning process makes a powerful antioxidant called lycopene way more available to your body. So you can actually absorb more of that good stuff from a can of tomatoes than from a fresh one. How wild is that?
Now, I know what you might be thinking. What about all the salt? It's a fair point, but check this out. Here's a super simple hack. If you just drain and rinse your canned beans, you can slash the sodium by about 41%. Just like that. It's such an easy win to make your pantry even healthier.
So the benefits are pretty clear for our own health, but the story doesn't end there. Canning has a huge role to play in tackling one of the biggest environmental challenges we face: food waste.
These numbers are, well, they're just staggering to look at. Globally, we lose over 13% of our food before it even gets to the store. Then another 19% gets wasted at the retail level and in our own homes. You add that up, and it's almost a third of all the food we produce, just gone.
This is where canning puts on its superhero cape. By taking that perfectly good produce and making it last for months or even years, it becomes this incredibly powerful tool to fight back against that waste. It ensures all the water, energy, and land used to grow that food didn't just go down the drain.
So, we've talked science, safety, nutrition, and sustainability. That's a lot. Let's boil it all down into a super simple guide. Some clear rules to live by to make your pantry as powerful as it can be. Here they are, the 4 golden rules.
First, and we've said it before, always match your canning method to the food's acidity. Second, this is not the time to get creative. Stick to tested, science-backed recipes from trusted sources. Third, be a smart shopper. Look for no-salt added options and always rinse your beans. And finally, just store your cans in a cool, dry place. Easy.
So how long do they last? Well, for best quality, commercially canned, high-acid stuff is good for about 1.5 years. Low-acid foods can go for 2 to 5 years. If you're canning at home, the general rule of thumb is simple. Aim to use everything within 1 year for the absolute best taste and texture.
So, the next time you open up your pantry, I want you to see more than just rows of cans. See those little time capsules of summer, see locked-in nutrition, and see a really simple, powerful tool that helps your family and the planet. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Your pantry isn't just storage, it's your secret weapon for a healthier, more sustainable future.